Hi guys. Everybody's always asking about menopause, and is menopause the end of sex and the end of your whole life? And then all these women are saying, no, it doesn't have to be, especially if the guy understands the female body, understands biology, understands basically how things have to change, right? There's no world in which things stay the same eternally, and I talk about that constantly. But anyway, we're offering this group and it's starting next week, and I don't know if you guys are not seeing my posts about it or something, but this is the group, right, that would answer all of these questions about how sex can be healthy and fulfilling, what your expectations should be, how to get there, how the female body changes at this time. By the way, the male body also changes, so that's included too, but I don't get as many questions about that because the way the men's body changes and their sexual function is fairly obvious to the naked eye, right? They struggle with their erections, but for women, everything is internal. So, and therefore, people don't understand it as well. So this group is being run by our sexologist. She's a registered sexologist, Heather Ray. She's the one who does all of our sex workshops and our videos, right? So I'm going to link to this group. It's also linked in the caption. And this group, let me tell you, it starts on, hold on, let me get there. We have a couple of other groups too. So we have accountability, the better breakup, and this one. But this one's starting on Thursday, starting on January 9th. So that's next Thursday. You could sign up as an individual and you could sign up as a couple, whatever you want. And then you would learn about embracing, it's called Embracing Sex After 50. And it's going to be, how many weeks is it? Hold on. It's January 9th to February 27th. So that is an 8-week session. And no, it isn't an 8-week session. Hold on, let me see. Did we get that wrong? Let me tell you how many weeks it is. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it is. It's a whole, that is a lot. You're getting a lot of value. That's only $250 for 8 sessions. And like all of you guys are always on my ass in the comments, oh, menopause, she doesn't want to have sex with me anymore. And I'm literally like, oh, why don't you take this group? And then people fade out. It's like, do you not even want to learn? There are ways to learn about how to manage sexual changes. There's ways to learn about how to manage emotional changes and ways to make your relationship better. And it's like that parable with the guy where it's like storming and he's like on top of the building and the water's coming up and he's praying to God to save him. And then somebody comes by with a raft and he's like, oh no, God's going to save me. Then somebody comes by with a boat and says, hey, why don't you get on? He says, no, God's going to save me. And then he drowns. Then he goes up to heaven and God says, and he says to God, what happened? I thought you were going to save me. And he said, didn't you see the raft and the boat? Right? Well, this is your raft and your boat, right? This is your raft and your boat. We have a sexologist who's going to explain sex after 50. So there's like no need to complain about how women suck on the internet if you have not tried everything. And trying, or men, right? Don't complain about how men suck on the internet either. Most people don't do that on my page, but they do on other pages, I'm sure. And if you want to really understand how your marriage changes, use resources, right? Use resources that are available. And this is a resource. So I hope to see a lot of signups after this pep talk. You cannot just expect your relationship, your sex life after 50 to be like your sex life at 30. That is not a thing. That is a tooth fairy level fantasy. It's not real. However, you can have an interesting, engaging, I'm sure less frequent for most, although some women, honestly, all of their mental stuff was around the kids being in the house, and as soon as the kids are out of the house, they're much better, much different. And kids start to leave in your 50s, assuming that you had them in at least your 30s, right? So it can be, some people say it's better. I mean, that's like not usual, but honestly, if you had like 4 kids or something in your 30s, it may well be better in your 50s, no matter what physiological changes there are. But either way, your anatomy and your physiology change for both people as they age, which is evolution. You're not fertile anymore, so shit changes, but that does not mean that you cannot have a loving sexual connection. And both people may have to compromise. It may not look like porn anymore. It may not look like when you're in your 20s, but it'll look like something. And if you do not understand your wife or your husband's body and you still try to engage with them in the same ways that you did in your 30s or your 20s or whatever, or even your 40s, it's not going to work. And then you're going to take from that the idea that sex doesn't work at all, but that's completely wrong. It's just that you don't have the knowledge about how things change. So then you do the wrong things and then you conclude that nothing's going to work, right? So anyway, join the group, join Embracing Sex After 50, and Heather's awesome, and I will leave you that link. It should be in the caption, but I'll give you another link in the comments too. And life is about learning to accommodate change, because change is constant. That's the only thing you can be sure of. Your marriage at 20 will not look at 30, will not look like at 40, will not look like it is at 50. Just won't, or beyond. So you have to really come to terms with that. And if that is difficult, if that entire idea is difficult, then therapy can help. But if you're open to the idea that change is constant and you just want to understand how it specifically changes, then this is the group for you. Okay, have a good day, everybody. Bye-bye.